Hi everyone, this is Jesse and today I'm going to give you a pretty detailed walkthrough of how the main features in Taro routing work. This video might be a little long, so I've labeled the sections in the progress bar so you can jump to a specific topic if you like. So, welcome to Taro routing, route optimization and delivery management software for enterprise. The first thing I want you to notice is that Taro runs in your browser, so you can log in from any computer, even if you're stuck at home. But let's get started with a quick tour. On the right, we have scenarios. Scenarios are how we manage different delivery waves. So you might have one scenario per day if your trucks just go out once, or you might have several if they go out and come back more than once during the day. What you're looking at right now is a scenario that's already been completed. So let's create a new one for tomorrow. On the left, you have jobs. These are the places you're delivering to. Even if you are delivering several parcels to the same customer, it still counts as one job. Here we have drivers. Some of our customers prefer to think in terms of vehicles or predefined runs, but basically drivers are the resources that you have available to do a wave of deliveries. And it's here that we can set the working hours, breaks, etc. For this demo, I'm going to create jobs in Taro by importing them from this Excel file. It's just a list of 260 example addresses to visit and some details about them. One thing to notice is that you can set optimization constraints on your jobs. A lot of our customers have time windows, capacity constraints, or priority jobs, for example. I can't go into detail about all the constraints right now, but I've put a link in the description to our page about optimization constraints. I've also added a units tab here. Units are how we tell Taro that there are multiple parcels to scan in the same delivery, and they get attached onto the relevant jobs. Also, it's completely optional, so if you don't need to scan barcodes, you just don't create any units. So now I'm just going to drag and drop that Excel file into Taro. Of course, if you have a WMS, TMS, or ERP with your data in it, we integrate directly with it. The Excel file is just so you can easily follow along for this demo. So now our 260 addresses have been geocoded and our jobs in Taro are ready to go. You probably noticed that I already have some drivers set up and I've already created their working hours, vehicle capacities, etc. So for each delivery scenario, you just activate the drivers that are available for that wave. In this case, I have 15 drivers and they're all starting from the same warehouse. Now we have all the information we need to run an optimization, so we can click Let's Route. This takes all jobs and drivers with their constraints, and it calculates which driver should visit which job in which order, so they spend the least amount of time driving. And of course, it takes into account any time windows, driver shifts, or other constraints that you've set up. By the way, if you're interested in integrating our algorithm directly into your system, we also make our route optimization API available directly. I've put a link in the description to the documentation if you want to find out more. Okay, now our optimization has finished and we're in the routing stage. This is where you can see and make changes to routes that have been planned by the route optimization algorithm. And just so you know, this optimization took about 80 seconds for the 260 jobs. As a point of reference, 100 jobs normally takes about 15 seconds. And there are settings which allow you to control how long the optimization should run for in case you need a result ASAP. This is the timeline. We built it to make sure that you, the planner or dispatcher, have the final word on driving routes. The idea is that you can drag and drop to change the sequence of jobs within a run, or drag and drop jobs to different drivers. Of course, the driving routes and ETAs update in real time as you make these changes. You can also see here that I've set some drivers to come back early for the next wave. But Others can continue for a few more hours. Here we can see that it isn't possible to visit all the jobs with the driver shifts that I set, so I'm going to send the unserved jobs to the job pool. The job pool is just a way to carry jobs over to a later delivery wave. Then we can just drag and drop them once we create that next scenario. So, once you're happy with the routes you've planned, it's time to move on to the tracking stage. The tracking stage is where you dispatch runs to drivers and keep track of their progress with loading, driving, and proof of delivery. So the first thing we're going to do here is dispatch the runs to the drivers. You can send the run sheets to your drivers in several ways. Some drivers have our app and they log in with their own account. Or you can send them a link by email or SMS. Or they can just scan a QR code to get their runs. Most of our customers find that this is the easiest. Most drivers delivering with Taro use the Android or iPhone app. I've put the link in the description below. But if you have subcontractors, we have a mobile web view that lets them deliver without downloading anything. I've got an Android here, so I'm going to show you what a driver would normally do. In this case, I'm going to scan the QR code for this driver, and that will load this run onto my phone. If your company has parcels they're delivering, the first thing you're going to do is load scan those parcels into the trucks at the warehouse. Now, I don't have any parcels with me, so these are fake barcodes, but you get the idea. Once the parcels are loaded, let's start the route. We enter the odometer reading here to track kilometers driven, and you have the option to add a photo or signature if required. The steering wheel here shows the planner that the route is started. And then the driver can use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze to navigate to their first job. When they arrive, they open the job, scan the parcels they want to deliver, and then confirm that the customer accepts all the parcels. The app records delivery status at both the parcel and job level, so you can keep track if the client was closed, a parcel was damaged or missing, or if the delivery was completed successfully. Then you have the option to add a signature, or a photo, and these will be recorded as well as the latitude and longitude for the proof of delivery. This proof of delivery information is immediately available to the dispatcher. You can see that the job has turned green on the map, and I can immediately see all the proof information associated with this job. The timestamp, the geolocation, any signature or photos. And further down, you can see that we have full loading and delivery information for each parcel as well. To keep your customers informed in real time, we have a job tracking page. You can send it to your customers by email or SMS, and this is kind of like a tracking token that you would get from UPS or Amazon, but better. When the customer has this token, they can access the job tracking page without needing to log in. And they can see real-time machine learning powered ETAs, which get updated each time the driver finishes a delivery. They can track the driver to the door. They can download a proof of delivery PDF as soon as the delivery is made. And they can check all the other details about their delivery. What you're seeing on the map now is what a dispatcher might see on a typical day. There are a few things happening which I want you to pay attention to. First, after each driver finishes loading their parcels, when they're ready to leave the warehouse, the dispatcher can see the steering wheel icon appear next to the route. Second, Taro performs real-time GPS tracking using the driver's smartphone. This feature can be turned on or off, and you can also choose how often the GPS location is sent. And third, as drivers finish each job, the icon changes color on the map. This immediately alerts dispatchers whenever a delivery fails. You can click on the job in question and look at the job proofs to know exactly what went wrong. There are quite a lot more features which I don't have time to go into. This video is already pretty long. We'll cover those in separate videos, but to give you an idea, you can manage multiple delivery waves in the same day. You can have delivery and return flow logistics managed in the same place. You can use transport boxes to group parcels together and then deliver them all at once with one scan. You can set up regional management level accounts which can see operations from multiple warehouses. You can calculate costs for transporters based on the number of stops, hours, kilometers, parcels, runs, vehicle types, all the normal metrics. You can search, filter, and export all of this information for missing delivery investigations or for end-of-month reporting. You can get fine-grained access control to ensure that the different members of your team can access and modify only the stuff that is relevant to them. And you can chat with us anytime using the in-app support chat to get help with whatever you need. So thanks for taking a look at Tara routing, and hopefully this video has given you a solid understanding of how it works. I recommend you book a quick demo with us, which you can do using this link. This is the best way to ask any questions you have and help you understand if Tara routing is the right tool for your use case or not. Thanks.